So today, me and Danielle are going to talk about whether you're in-house or freelancing. What are the most important skills you need to hone as a marketing ops professional? So we both come to this from different places. Danielle's been in-house for recently. I've been consulting for a long time. I've worked with like smaller and SMBs and mid-market. I think Danielle's worked more on the enterprise side. So
Enterprise, highly
we come at this
regulated
from different
companies.
spots.
Yeah. But I think there's a consistent skill set that needs to be mastered by everyone who's in marketing operations.
Okay, so what do you think is like the most important?
It's storytelling for me because I think enough people don't really fully understand what we do every day. And if we are placed in a marketing department, it's really I think it's funny because it's like marketing is the feeling group. They like
Mhm.
to be artsy. They like to create things in a uh not technical state. Like they're very much like, I like this coloring or I like the way
Right.
this presents. Whereas marketing technologists and ops folks are technical, they're very data driven. So it's a very different world. So you have to tell your stories. You have to tell the successes and help bridge that gap through the communication challenges you have with your peers in marketing.
There's a lot of things that have been useful to take into marketing technology. One downside that I think that kind of started around like 10 years ago is when we got so good at measuring tools. We had all these analytics tools and attribution. We really shifted into this data driven mindset at all costs. And so this idea that we only present data, I think was a detriment to us. And I think data driven is still really important. I probably shouldn't have put it in quotes. But data driven is important, but the data isn't telling the story. You need to get the data. You need to be confident in the data, but how do you present that both above you and outside of your department in a way that like resonates with people? And spreadsheets don't resonate, graphs don't resonate. I mean, they're useful and they're very good supporting information for your stories. But I think, like you're saying, like we really need to be able to like create an understanding and a narrative of what's going on. And I think that story is how humans in general learn things.
Awesome. What do you think the another one is?
I mean, I think one thing that's interesting is like we have these ideas that we're all in departments, but the bottom line is you work for a company. And I think it's really, really important that you understand your business because when you understand how your boss is measured and what are the goals of the company this year, when we look at sales and we're trying to assess if we have good customers or bad customers, are we going on like customer acquisition cost? Are we going on lifetime value? Is it annual? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that if you understand what's important to the company, that's a really good thread to keep you on the right path when you're doing the marketing that is the feeling and the important stuff, but also like that technology and the measurement. You want to make sure that you're doing that right stuff. So you really have to be top of mind with like what matters to my company in this market.
I completely agree. I do think it's also exciting to know things. So when you want to contribute a new idea, you know what the downstream impacts of those ideas are and how it helps the business and it helps all your colleagues. So I think knowing your business absolutely is a critical piece.
Yeah, I think, and I think that gets like kind of washed away because we all get focused on like knowing our technology or knowing whatever new thing is coming along. But if you don't like keep in mind the context of like, how's this going to help our business? You're not necessarily going to be using that technology well.
Absolutely. Do you think there's one more?
Shouldn't there always be three? I don't know. Like I always like whenever I'm interviewed, this always comes up because my background's graphic design. And I always say like it was the most useful skill I could get in college because graphic design is all about taking complicated ideas and boiling them down to something simple. So like a logo. But I think MOPS specifically because we really do need to have our feet in both worlds. We're not just technologists, but we're not just marketers. And so because we straddle those two worlds, we need to be very good at being the communicator between all of the parts, but also like we talked about, like with that storytelling, the audience is broad. And I think marketing ops people are probably the best position to kind of be those translators between the groups that might have different languages or different motivations, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Yeah, it is very challenging. We do talk very technical. I was once told that I spoke R2D2. I was so flattered. But yes, it is very challenging in our world because I don't think we realize how much jargon we're using when we talk to each other. I also joke that I think when you go to the Mopsapalooza or any of those big marketing ops conferences, Scott Brinker could be up on stage telling a marketing operations joke, and the whole entire audience is like peeling over laughing.
Right.
If you put that same joke in the context of a regular marketing event or just a business event, everyone's be like, "What is this person talking about?" So we do talk our own language, and it is something we need to be cognizant of and ask the question back, are you understanding what I'm sharing with you? Um, what is resonating or what's not resonating is a very important question to have with your peers. So, look at their face. Sometimes they have this whole like blank stare of like,
Right.
do ask, like, is this making sense? Just so your point, you want to make sure your points are coming through because you want to help the business, right? And yeah, sometimes it's very hard because we speak our own weird R2D2 language.
Yeah, and to your point that we didn't really put in here, it's kind of a sub point is like ask we're talking a lot about putting information out, but like ask a lot of questions too, especially like you tell the story. Not only does this make sense, does this matter to you? Like, no, not in the slightest, or yes, this particular part mattered a lot to me. Can we dig into that more? I mean, that's the greatest. You want to be in this collaboration with the people that you're working with.
Absolutely. Well, this was fun.
This is super fun. I think we should dive more into some of these points too, because I think there's
I think so. Yeah. These are big beady points.
yes. So cool. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks.
All right. I'm gonna stop recording.
Do you want me to log